Articles from the Labor Standard by Frederick Engels. Ninth article, A Working Men's Party. Published June 23, 1881. How often have we not been warned by friends and sympathizers, quote, "Keep aloof from party politics." And they were perfectly right, as far as the present English party politics are concerned. A labor organ must be neither Whig nor Tory, neither conservative nor liberal, or even radical in the actual party sense of that word. Conservatives, liberals, radicals, all of them represent but the interests of the ruling classes, and various shades of opinion predominating amongst landlords, capitalists, and retail tradesmen. If they do represent the working class, they most decidedly misrepresent it. The working class has interests of its own, political as well as social. How it has stood up for what it considers its social interests, the history of the trades unions and the short-time movement shows. But its political interests it leaves almost entirely in the hands of Tories, Whigs, and Radicals, men of the upper class, and for nearly a quarter of a century the working class of England has contented itself with forming, as it were, the tail of the, quote, great liberal party. This is a political position unworthy of the best organized working class of Europe. In other countries, the working men have been far more active. Germany has had for more than 10 years a working men's party, parenthesis, the Social Democrats, which owns 10 seats in Parliament, and whose growth has frightened Bismarck into those infamous measures of repression of which we give an account in another column. Yet in spite of Bismarck, the Working Men's Party progresses steadily. Only last week it carried 16 elections for the Mannheim Town Council and one for the Saxon Parliament. In Belgium, Holland, and Italy, the example of the Germans has been imitated. In every one of these countries, a working men's party exists, though the voters' qualification there is too high to give them a chance of sending members to the legislature at present. In France, the Working Men's Party is just now in full process of organization. It has obtained the majority in several municipal councils at the last elections, and will undoubtedly carry several seats at the general election for the chamber next October. Even in America, where the passage of the working class to that of farmer, trader, or capitalist is still comparatively easy, the working men find it necessary to organize themselves as an independent party. Everywhere the laborer struggles for political power, for direct representation of his class in the legislature, everywhere but in Great Britain. And yet there was never a more widespread feeling in England than now that the old parties are doomed, that the old chevaudas have become meaningless, that the old watchwords are exploded, that the old panaceas will not act any longer. Thinking men of all classes begin to see that a new line must be struck out, and that this line can only be in the direction of democracy. But in England, where the industrial and agricultural working class forms the immense majority of the people, democracy means the dominion of the working class, neither more nor less. Let, then, that the working class prepare itself for the task in store for it, the ruling of this great empire. Let them understand the responsibilities which inevitably will fall to their share. And the best way to do this is to use the power already in their hands, the majority they possess in every large town in the kingdom, to send to Parliament men of their own order. With the present household suffrage, 40 or 50 working men might easily be sent to St. Stephen's, where such an infusion of entirely new blood is very much wanted indeed. With only that number of working men in Parliament, it would be impossible to let the Irish Land Bill become, as is the case at present, more and more an Irish Land Bill, namely an Irish Landlords Compensation Act. It would be impossible to resist the demand for a redistribution of seats, for making bribery really punishable, for throwing election expenses, as is the case everywhere but in England, on the public purse, etc. Moreover, in England a real democratic party is impossible unless it be a working men's party. Enlightened men of the other classes, where they are not so plentiful as people would make us believe, might join that party and even represent it in Parliament after having given pledges of their sincerity. Such is the case everywhere. In Germany, for instance, the working men representatives are not in every case actual working men, but no democratic party in England, as well as elsewhere, will be effectively successful unless it has a distinct working class character. Abandon that, and you have nothing but sects and shams. And this is even truer in England than abroad. Of radical shams there have been unfortunately enough since the breakup of the first working men's party which the world ever produced, the Chartist Party. Yes, but the Chartists were broken up and attained nothing. Did they indeed? Of the 6 points of the People's Charter, 2, vote by ballot and no property qualification, are now the law of the land. A third, universal suffrage, is at least approximately carried in the shape of household suffrage. A fourth, equal electoral districts, is distinctly in sight, a promised reform of the present government. So that the breakdown of the Chartist movement has resulted in the realization of fully 1/2 of the Chartist program. And if the mere recollection of a past political organization of the working class could affect these political reforms, and a series of social reforms besides, what will the actual presence of a working men's political party do, backed by 40 or 50 representatives in Parliament? We live in a world where everybody is bound to take care of himself. Yet the English working class allows the landlord, capitalist, and retail trading classes, with their tail of lawyers, newspaper writers, etc., to take care of its interests. No wonder reforms in the interest of the workingmen come so slow and in such miserable dribbles. The workpeople of England have but to will, and they are the masters to carry every reform, social and political, which their situation requires. Then why not make that effort? You have reached the end of A Working Men's Party by Frederick Engels. Click on the links at the end of this video to go to the playlist, or the next article if it's available. If you enjoy this content and would like to support the channel, please like and subscribe.